Saw yesterday, emerging from the shadows, giving an interview, trying to get back into the game. Jon Gruden says he's interested in coaching college football, and I do believe that college football has gotten just dirty enough that if Urban Meyer can easily reinvent himself over there, and if we're willing to just put down all of our moralities, that Jon Gruden will never work in professional football again. You can't litigate against the NFL and then get back into the NFL. But I do want to remind people of some of Jon Gruden's reasons for banishment, because I think if I ask you guys, if I ask the audience, do you know that Jon Gruden is sort of banned from football? The answer will be yes. But if I ask then, do you know why? Do you know the details? I think you need some reminders on the details, because he's been really busy fighting the NFL on how this was leaked and how he lost his job that he thought initially he was going to keep, because when the first bits of this information came out, he entrenched himself on, I'm not going anywhere. Now, you got to keep in mind, this person was the highest paid employee at ESPN. He was the voice of Monday Night Football. It was a different age, right? All these people are now being paid 3 times as much. But back then, he was the voice and face of football at ESPN, and he could have gotten any job he wanted. He was kind of coach in waiting the way Belichick is. His reputation was pristine, and he loved football the way we love football. He basically brought to the broadcasts what Romo brought initially to the broadcast. It's not doing it the way Brady does it. It's the way John Madden does it. It's like, this guy clearly loves what he's watching, and that's infectious. Oh, but in the shadows, he does some stuff that is homophobic, and also wasn't there some racism in there too?
Oh yeah. There's a ton of stuff here. Just a few things that leaked out through these emails. Gruden called Roger Goodell a F slur and a clueless anti-football P slur. Gruden also said that Goodell should not have pressured the Rams to draft quote-unquote queers, referring to Michael Sam, the first openly gay player drafted in NFL history. In messaging Bruce Allen, the former Washington football team president, he sent messages with topless photos of their cheerleaders. Gruden also joked to Allen that he should tell Brian Glazer, the co-owner of the Bucks, to perform oral sex on Gruden. He mocked Caitlyn Jenner for receiving an ESPN award following her gender transition. He stated the players who protest the national anthem should be fired, specifically regarding Eric Reed. He also used a racist stereotype to describe NFLPA Executive Director DeMaurice Smith, saying, "Dumb Boris Smith has lips the size of Michelin tires."
Oh, that's bad.
I'll tell you, man.
Yeah,
I apologize about all of that. I'd love to coach again, man. I love football players.
You could tell that Gruden's been out of the light for a little bit because Chris's.
I'll tell you, man. I thought that was pretty good.
Nah, it's not.
I haven't done it in a while. Thought that was pretty good.
Bit rusty.
Dusted it off.
Bit rusty.
It's caliendo. That's what I'm doing.
Wait a minute. It's all right that it's a little bit rusty. Like, you guys got to, man, I am so tired of the culture around here of undercutting. You guys were not happy for Pablo Torre on Family Feud. Chris is trying a thing there. He's broken out his rusty impersonation. The hardest things to do around here in front of people are impersonations and singing. Those are the bravest things, the most vulnerable things.
I could do both, man. I'll tell you what, man. I love football. I used to be Jay, remember? I'm not usually John.
Yeah.
I'm Robert and
Now,
Kirk.
what's the J? Can we hear Jay versus John?
Robert and Kirk. Where are they at, man? Where are they at?
Yes,
And so where's John?
I'll tell you, man. John loves football players, man. I'll tell you this right now. I'll tell you. I'm gonna tell you again, and I'll keep saying it because I'm gonna tell you. I love football players, man, and I apologize about all that stuff I said. I really apologize, man. I don't know what I was thinking. As soon as I hit send, man, I was like, shouldn't have sent that.
I really apologize.
I'm super sorry, man. Love football players.
He's going to get back in the game. He's going to. Somebody is going to say,
Northern Iowa, here I come, baby. All right, too much.
Southern twang there to Jon Gruden.
There was some Hispanic in there. I heard it too.
Good, all right. I'm not crazy.
No,
I love a hand turkey, man.
It was Juan Gruden there. I heard him there. I don't know how it is that you had a Hispanic accent, but you did. You were doing fine, and I don't mean to undercut you. It's just you got a little too cocky. And
Did I mention I apologize, man? About all that stuff.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, all of it. Just a blanket apology. What are your thoughts on Jon Gruden getting back into football? Because I heard you guys
to Americas
before the show yelling at each other about Lane Kiffin. You guys, for some reason, are just fascinated with coaching carousel stuff in ways I will never be fascinated with coaching carousel stuff. And so when you tell me the name Jon Gruden, I'm just like, that person should never, and I'm a forgiving person, but he should never work in the coaching of people again. Like when those are the things on his resume, the disgrace of that isn't something that should be welcomed back into that workplace. However, I am used to that particular workplace being more immoral than most. And so I do shrug my shoulders if you tell me he's possibly going to get back to teaching kids, because we've professionalized this so much that Jon Gruden is a name that will have, I assume, value somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if I see him, but no. I'd rather not see Jon Gruden on the sideline.
But remember,
I don't think it would be good.
But I apologize, man, if you remember.
Yeah, we heard that. Yeah.
For everything.
You did.
Football players, man. Love them.
Can he come in as a head coach, or would he be willing to come in as an offensive coordinator? Would Jon Gruden be willing to come up the ladder of shame by being an assistant coach instead of a head coach?
The only way that it could have happened was if Saban was still at Alabama and he took Nick Saban took him in and he made him a defensive coordinator, an offensive coordinator, whatever he wanted to be, and then helped him through that pipeline of recycled coaches that get that rehab tour. It's hard because we've seen really bad coaches and really bad people get that second, third, fourth chance, right? Like Hugh Freeze ends up at a Christian school in Liberty, and then all of a sudden he's like, hey, what did Hugh Freeze do? He's a nice guy. He's here with us at Liberty. Or Bobby Petrino, now back at Arkansas. Like, oh, when did that happen? Oh, that's right.
There's Briles all over the place. Kendall Briles, I believe, is coaching at TCU. And, you know, it's like the offensive analyst role. It's not even a coordinator. You sneak him in just in one of those roles. It's like right now on the rehab tour for coaching, Scott Frost is an offensive analyst under Sean McVay. This is always how it goes. They're an analyst, and then all of a sudden they're back in.
When you said Kendall Briles right there, I had no idea that's what his son's first name was, and I just had this weird, like Kendall Jenner and Art Briles like being one person, and that's one of the oddest.
Okay, it could have stayed a thought in your head and not spoken into
Kendall
a microphone.
Briles.
It could have not.
I'm sorry about that, man. I apologize for that as well. I'm going to turn my mic off.
You could have just kept it to
Football
yourself. Yeah, okay. You know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to just.
Kendall Briles, though. Quite the compliment.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes, rambling.
Just some thoughts should just stay in your head. You don't have to say them all at a microphone like that. You're just doing word association. Hey, you said Kendall, and I thought of a Kendall, and it was Kendall Jenner, and it's Kendall Briles. That's a Briles adjacent Briles. That's not the Briles. Art Briles is the problematic Briles, and he will not work anywhere. He has tried to whiff around college football, and he keeps getting run out of every place with every minor assistant coaching job because people are like, nope. That's too many crimes to bring around here.
That's too many Briles, actually.
This goes into the camp of, am I surprised, right? We were talking about it last week. Am I surprised that Dave Grohl had a child out of wedlock? No, I'm not surprised. Will Jon Gruden coach again? Yeah, maybe. I'm not surprised if he will. I'll be like, oh, okay, he's at Kennesaw State. Sure, okay.
But I'm asking you, as a head coach, you're putting him in charge of everything? Like, you can't
Somebody will
welcome
be
that in
desperate
charge
enough
of
to do
everything.
it, Dan.
That's how it always is. That's the redemption tour, right? Like you say you're sorry, and then you go do a small school, and then they start winning, and then all of a sudden you get called up to a bigger school, and next thing you know, you're back.
And we've seen it in all sports. I mean, they recycle coaches often. So I'm not going to be surprised at all.
The vampire, the biggest example that we have. Rick Pitino is like, oh, he'll never come back. And guess where he's at? He's back.
Yeah, but the things that he said so specifically about the executive VP of the NFLPA and about the commissioner of the league and literally using slurs about everybody. Like,
I'm not saying he'll be back in the NFL, but I'm saying he'll be back. Man. Look, Urban Meyer keeps coming back. How? He's not even good.
he's good at college football. He wasn't good at pro football. But you guys are so cynical and numb at this point that there's not a series of scandals or allegations that I could put in front of you where you would say, you know what, that person cannot work here again. I mean,
did he? That's
Yeah.
okay, someone who is lacking the freedom to be able to get out from behind bars to go do the job in college. So you guys are basically saying that Diddy could be a college football coach. That you're the Diddy equivalent, if you were a college football coach, would be able to get back into football because football's so immoral that there's no line for you guys. There's nothing that will stop you from hiring a name to be around power.
Did Diddy win a national championship?
I think you'd say yes. Several.
If he won several, that's a different story.